Hello YouTube! In this video we'll go from this to this. Let's jump right in. Step 1. Jack up the car. Before the tire loses contact with the ground, it's a good idea to slightly loosen the wheel fasteners. This will make it easier to remove them later when the wheel is free to rotate. Once that's done, go ahead and remove the wheel. Notice the play in the old tie rod's ball joint by wiggling the wheel hub. Not good. It definitely needs to be replaced as soon as possible. To begin removing the tie rod, use a 16mm hex bit socket along with your ratchet. I also added an extension, because why not? Let the world know I have a nice ratchet extension. After some effort, I managed to crack the ball joint nut loose. But after half a turn, I felt resistance, so I decided to spray some WD-40 penetrating fluid to make removing the nut easier. With the nut fully removed, be sure to scrape off all the dirt and rust from the threads. This way, you can hand tighten it just enough to cover the top of the protruding bolt. This will help us press out the ball joint later. Before going any further, use a vernier caliper or another measuring tool of your choice to measure the position of the outer tie rod relative to a reference point on the inner tie rod. I like to measure from the center of the ball joint cap to the end of the threads on the inner tie rod, but some people prefer to count the exposed threads or rotations when removing the old tie rod. I stick with the caliper method because there might be slight difference in length between old and new replacement parts. It's crucial to keep the overall length of the inner and outer tie rod the same, or the car's alignment will be off, affecting the toe angle. Now that we are ready to continue, spray some penetrating fluid on the remaining nut. Use a 19mm open-end spanner to break it loose, but leave the nut in place so you can thread the new tie rod right up to it. This should get you very close to the correct position. Next, use a tie rod puller to press out the old tie rod. Alternatively, you can use a hammer, but I recommend investing in a proper tool. It costs around 10 euros and makes the job much easier. Once the tie rod is pushed out, remove the hand-tightened nut and take off the old tie rod. You can count the rotations if you are using that method. Compare the old tie rod to the new one. Clean any dirt off the mating surfaces and then assemble the new tie rod end. Slightly tighten the ball joint nut, but note that the new nut is 17mm instead of 16mm. Fine-tune the distance using a 12mm open spanner on the inner tie rod. Once you are happy with the position, tighten everything while still holding the inner tie rod. The torque spec is 43 Nm, but unfortunately I don't have an open-ended torque wrench. I double-checked the distance and gave it a bit of extra torque to ensure everything is nice and tight. For the upper ball joint nut, the torque spec is 28 Nm. And remember, always return your torque wrench to zero rotation before storing it. Wipe down any smudges from the penetrating fluid, mount the wheel back on, and lower the car to the ground. And with that, you are done. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. It helps us grow the channel. If you made it this far, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!